The narrative gap between how niacin and NMN are perceived in popular health culture is extraordinary, and the mechanism that created it deserves careful examination. NMN is routinely described in wellness media as a cutting-edge longevity breakthrough, a molecule that prominent researchers take daily, a compound that may reverse biological aging. Niacin, covering the same fundamental biochemical territory, is described as a B vitamin. The framing could not be more different. And the framing is almost entirely the product of marketing strategy, not scientific hierarchy. Niacin's history is, in many ways, more dramatic and better documented than anything NMN has yet produced. In the early 20th century, pellagra was devastating populations across the American South. The disease, caused by severe niacin deficiency, produced what clinicians called the 4Ds: dermatitis, diarrhea, dementia, and death. Hundreds of thousands of people were affected. Understanding that pellagra was a nutritional deficiency disease correctable with niacin was one of the defining achievements of early 20th century public health. What pellagra documented, in catastrophic human terms, is that ND plus depletion, which is what niacin deficiency causes, produces cognitive breakdown, systemic inflammation, and cellular death. The molecule that corrects this is the same one being sold today for 15 cents per bottle. NMN entered the anti-aging conversation primarily through rodent studies beginning around 2013. Mice given NMN showed improvements in metabolic function, muscle performance, and markers of biological age. These findings were reported enthusiastically across popular media, and a small group of prominent longevity researchers began self-experimenting with NMN publicly, which generated significant consumer interest. The human trials that followed were largely short-term pilot studies, enrolling small numbers of participants, funded in many cases by companies with commercial stakes in the results. This is not fraud, it's the normal early stage of a research pipeline. But it's a very different evidence base than 80 years of niacin research in millions of humans. The analytical problem here is one of evidence hierarchy, and it's a problem most health media handles poorly. A mouse study, regardless of how dramatic its results, is hypothesis-generating, not hypothesis-confirming. Mice are not humans. Mouse ND plus metabolism is not human ND plus metabolism. The distance between "this worked in mice" and "you should spend $1,000 a year on this" is enormous, and the supplement industry has systematically obscured that distance with compelling storytelling. None of this means NMN will ultimately prove ineffective. The early human trials show some promising signals. But framing niacin as an old vitamin people take for cholesterol while framing NMN as a longevity breakthrough inverts the actual evidence weighting. Niacin's mechanisms are better understood, its safety profile is extensively documented, and its clinical record in humans is vastly deeper. The anti-aging molecule label belongs, at minimum, equally to niacin, and arguably more so.